Okay, so my name is Catalina. I am the owner of Catalina Jean Photography, and today I'm going to talk to you about low-cost marketing ideas for the modern photographer. So by modern photographer, I'm sort of leaning towards this sort of online presence that's really important now, that wasn't even existing, 10 years ago. It wasn't something people took advantage of. It was all print ads and just word of mouth, but now we have this awesome online resource, and most of it is either low cost or even free. So on your first slide, your printouts that you have, it says that, but I'm a photographer, isn't taking beautiful photos enough? And it's not, because if people don't know you and they don't know where to find you, they'll never see your photos and you'll never get clients. So basically, it's really getting your name out there, it's getting connected. And why I said adapt or die here is that if you have been a photographer for the last 10 years and you've really relied solely on print and word of mouth, it's time to catch up, or you're really going to miss out on a whole target base that you could go for. So the next slide is, so what is modern in marketing for photographers? Basically the internet. So the first big one is the rise of the search engine titans. So that is Google, Bing, multiple other ones out there, but those are really the big ones, and really optimizing for those searches. So it's really, and Google reaches over 2 billion, has 2 billion searches a day, which is just nuts not to be taking advantage of that. So then also there's the follow me, like it, friend me, tweet it. That has to do with social media, so that's really becoming a staple in almost every household. So almost all of your customers out there that you're going to want to connect with are going to be at least on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, and all of that is free for you to be on there. So it's really important to get on there. So, and then blog it up. So blogs are a huge deal for not only you, but also to be featured on other people's blogs within the field of photography, so wedding inspiration blogs, baby inspiration blogs. So it's really important to get that blog up and running, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. So, and the next slide has to do with SEO, which is search engine optimization, and it is a necessary evil. It is very simple and very complicated all at once. There are some really simple things you can put into place that will help optimize your search engines and really getting to show up. So it's like including a description in the metadata of your photos to help those search engines find your photos and pull, so you could put things like Mississippi wedding photographer or Mount Hood wedding photographer, and those things will start to pull when clients go on there and research that, and then you'll start to come up more and more. So that's an easier one you take advantage of. I have put a link here of some other examples of easy things to do that the photographer can handle. Most of us are not going to be experts at SEO, so it might even be wise to eventually hire a professional if it's really something that you see is going to bring you business. Some photographers don't really rely on that. They think it's an unnecessary expense because the word of mouth does build. And another great way to build SEO is also through getting featured and also getting comments and interaction on your blog. That's one of the reasons the blog is important, because the more unique content, the more people interacting with it, it's going to bump you up in the search engine optimization. So on the next slide is, so basically getting connected, social media. Big boys of social media are Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest. So Facebook, you can have a personal page, you can have a business page, and you can also be a place. So it's important to kind of hit it from all sides. Have your personal page linked straight to your business page. List an address so that people can check in, you get more interaction, and it's all free, which is great. Twitter has a bit of the similar capabilities as Facebook, except it's more based on hashtags. So it's going to be a little bit different. I would almost say that that's more to get connected with vendors. When you're featured on a blog, they're going to be more posting your name on there, at least from my experience. That's what I've looked at. So getting connected with customers, Facebook, getting connected with vendors, Twitter. Instagram's another one. It's acting a lot like Facebook. They just did an update now where that you can see the photos that your friends are tagged in, so that's fairly new, which is really nice. And I know that was kind of an irk with photographers that they would tag people, you can't really see it in their feed. So now you have that other tab. So that's another, basically exactly like Facebook, where you're able to upload images and they still look really nice, and you can have almost a little mini portfolio, which is really cool. Pinterest. So this gives you the ability to create boards of inspiration, and there's really two ways that this is very beneficial. One is having your work pinned to Pinterest, gets that exposure going, but also so you can create boards for clients. You can get them thinking about outfits to wear, locations. So if there's a certain direction you'd really like them to go with your shoot, giving them that visual inspiration will really be such an extra oomph to get them to maybe to wear that dress instead of the jeans, or that color over matching black shirts, which most photographers hate nowadays. We're looking for some variety. So it gives a lot there. So basically here's some tips for effective social media presence. So basically you're going to design it and treat it like a website or a business card. It needs to be professional. It's your really first foot forward. So keep your branding across it very consistent, because it is your business card. Update it consistently and frequently. I say definitely with each of those at least a couple times a week, just to kind of keep it going. And also get connected and be engaged. So like other photographers, like their pages, follow them on Twitter, comment, kind of get that, show that you're engaged and you're not sitting back, sort of disconnected in your own little photography world. Ask for opinions and thoughts, and bring people in to get them involved as well, because it'll encourage them to also engage with your blog and get your SEO up. So on the next one, so this one has to do with covering your blog and their blog. So if you don't have a blog, you're missing out, because as I've mentioned, SEO is a big boost that can come from that unique content and engagement. So, and it also gets to create sort of a storytelling feel, especially as a photographer, because you get to post multiple images and it's not just your single image portfolio, which are great, but it's nice to see a full flow of a shoot. So a lot of people go, well, I don't know what to put on a blog. What am I supposed to write? Who even cares what I'm going to write? So Sue Bryce, who is a glamour photographer, came up with this great rule that I love, and it's called something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. So something old is basically just going through old photos or old thoughts and posting something that's a reflection. Posting these are my favorite photos of the year, or I remember when this happened. That's a great source to pull from. Something new, which is easy as photographers because we take photos. So we constantly have new material that we can post and talk about. Something borrowed. So say there's a trend you really love, flower crowns. You can take photos from other photographers, as long as credit's given, and actually create here's what I love about flower crowns, and you can post other pictures. So you're borrowing that content to create something new for your site. And then something blue. Something blue would be personal. So say you had even just a family member pass away, or you're reflecting on when you first got your puppy, or just something really important to you that's very personal. It adds a nice personal touch. So those are 4 big things that are easy to pull from, and if you constantly kind of maybe make lists or thoughts when you're ready to blog, you can pull from your lists, and it'll be very easy to come up with that content every week, because it can be difficult to try to think of things to write out. So then there's really big extra exposure that's free is to get featured. So this would be on websites like Green Wedding Shoes, The Wedding Chick, Style Me Pretty. There's tons and tons of inspiration blogs out there that are followed by tens of thousands of people, and we're all on there wasting time and reading through those things, but we love it, and it gets you that exposure. So it's really easy, and it's free. So you just click that submit button. My only tip there is they usually have very strict instructions on how to submit, so pixel size of your images. Make sure to follow that. You don't want to be overlooked because of that. So let's see. So basically that's it. That's some really easy tips and tricks that are free or at least low cost, that take very little effort, that can really revolutionize how you're seen on the web and the clientele you can bring in. Thank you.